Hi. So, Julie, thank you so much for giving me a tour of the park today. I really appreciate, what you're doing for the community, and could share with us maybe some of your concerns with what's happening at the park here.
Yesterday we had one assault. Friday we had another assault, and these are all homeless on homeless. There are lots of fights, slashing of tents, throwing of items, of each other's items, and just kind of trying to protect our park, but our kids are supposed to be here.
So, in the tour, I noticed that, for example, in front of the municipal office, there was somebody literally camped right at the door. I noticed around the senior center, there were encampments literally all the way around it at the door. And as we were pulling up, a gentleman was defecating right up against the wall, right in front of us. And then I noticed that at the entrance of the tennis courts and even around the pool, you have encampments around every single one of these buildings. How is your community participating in the recreational services while this is happening?
We aren't. I think there's a few parents that are willing to come and use our playground, but most people won't come over here anymore. Across the street is our neighborhood, and it's generally a walkable area. But we also have Little League and Pop Warner. We have a preschool here, and we have the senior center, and the preschool walks from the recreational center over to the pool for the kids to swim. None of that's going to happen. So June 8th, all of our camps, our summer camps, are supposed to open, so we'll see.
Clearly, there's a lack of services at all for these people who are here. PPRA is in the position of opposing a motion that's recently come out that the city is proposing to create more encampments in parks. And we're very concerned, basically, because of what we see here and what we see elsewhere in Los Angeles. I'm looking for ideas on what we can do to unite and create better solutions for our members of our society that are unhoused, and also solutions that work for everybody. So I was wondering, what are some of the ideas you have?
Yes, no, I've toured Hope of the Valley off of the 101, and it was a tiny home community. It was opening this past Tuesday, and we toured it before it opened. It was an amazing community. They had 100 prefab houses, tiny houses, and they brought in third-party services. So they had LASA come, but they weren't as frequent as this, group needs. So they bring in third-party groups for mental health, addiction health. They can have all the drugs and alcohol, but not inside the property. They leave everything out inside of lockers, weapons to keep them safe on, outside when they venture outside. But they were provided all the services, not just the housing and not just the tents on the ground. I listened to Attorney Sobel on the Venice Council, Neighborhood Council meeting the other day, and she said, we need industrial buildings that are already built that are not near residential areas, but have access to the buses and this and that so people can get around. And I thought that was, as a homeless advocate herself, but saying not in the residence, not in the parks, not at the beaches.
So right now you have members of our society who are living in the park, but they're not being held accountable. Homelessness is not just needing food and a tent. Homelessness is much more complex than that. And number one, I was also at the Venice Community Council, and I heard what was said, and what was said was the biggest concern we have right now is a lot of the unhoused suffer from trauma and from issues of mental health, either caused from the cycle of poverty that led them to being unhoused or from other kinds of traumas.
We definitely need mental health addiction services. When we talk about it at neighborhood council meetings, we're met with, that's not our job. It is, Mike Bonin will say, I'm here for the housing. It's, a county service. It's not a city service. And it's not happening. We can see it here every single day. I think we need third party. I think we need not necessarily to take over the whole community, but to provide services that we, or Mike Bonin, and our community cannot serve.
So now I think I've been here for about 2 hours and I haven't seen law enforcement once. Is that usual? Is that common?
The only time we get law enforcement is if there is something crazy going on.
Okay, is there any other kind of security at the park currently?
We share one park ranger with, I don't know if it's all of CD11 or Mar Vista, but it's a big portion. I have never seen a park ranger here in the 20 years I've lived here, to be honest.
And so I did a little bit of a video portion over where the safe parking is at. Now, is there an attendant that's there every evening? Are you aware?
There is supposed to be. I've driven by, I go to bed early, but I've driven by a handful of times. I've never seen, they're also never seen security, but there's also supposed to be placards on their cars. I've never seen a car in there with a placard. I might be missing it. I'm not saying there isn't, but it's not super obvious that there's a plan going on over there.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us today that you feel that's important that we know for our cause on how to get our beaches and parks back and do what's right for everyone?
Just want to say something quick just about Westchester Park is our park has been overtaken not only by the homeless, but we also have other things going on in the park. There's no permits being given. Yesterday there was over 1,000 people with motorcycles. They were all nice when I came in to check on one of my homeless friends, but they run amok in the grass, and they don't take care of our park. There's trash all over when they leave. So it looks like by allowing the homeless to come, it looks like we don't care about our park, when in fact we do, but we don't have the services to help us keep it and clean, and nobody's, giving permits out at this point.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, Julie. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I'm looking forward to working with you very closely in the near future.